Your project is a bit complex in all the good ways, I would say, but still, like, for people that are used to have a very number go up approach to things, sort of like, I buy this token and I hope to hold it and see it go up. It might seem daunting to see that the project has 3 tokens and that there are all these dynamics, and that it also involves the governance and involves the people purchasing protection. It's a fairly complex project. And there was a dispute within the community when you announced that you would be launching MOAR, because people felt like it would dilute the value of the original Union project. And that is a fear that I see has dissipated ever since. I don't see that being a shadow in the Union community. But how did you, did this ever cross your mind that adding layers of complexity on top of the project would dilute the value?
Well, whenever you're leading anything, if you're one step ahead, you're visionary. If you're 2 steps ahead, you're crackpot, right? It's all in communicating your leadership and also maintaining your followership. Yeah. But we have to explain what our thinking is. And there's sometimes when we've been very clear and consistent to our community, and we've been able to say, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And there are other places where we've had to duck and cover very quickly, to try to figure out tactfully how we want to be able to manage things. And, regretfully, MOAR wasn't communicated as cleanly as we would have liked to the community in the beginning. But we did see an early conflict in terms of what we were trying to do with protection and the role of lending in that environment. ULend was never meant to be as elegant as it became, and it became a point of contention. And also looking at the fact we didn't do a public raise, we realized we could do one thing well. We could either follow our mandate and offer protection products and work non-competitively with lenders that we were trying to sell them to or integrate with, or we could try to be all things to all people and possibly not get anything done. So that was a risk, and I think that we responded well, as a team internally, but we didn't engage the community very cleanly. And we had floated this, a couple weeks before the actual announcement was made, and we had an AMA shortly, around the time it was made. And we let some of the FUD sit out there perhaps a little bit too long because we thought that our conversation, our communication around these things were sufficient. I don't think that the price action around the token was largely tied to the discussion around MOAR, though. I think that, we have had some predatory activity in the public market, around our token, and that's been well documented. And I think that what happened was an opportunist came in about 4 hours after we made the announcement, and people correlated that activity of selling tokens openly on the market when he had a very low cost basis, with dissatisfaction on the basis of the fact that the lending product was being launched on its own. And I think that the price action together with the unsettled sentiment, related in what was a lot of the FUD around MOAR. And, fortunately, through communication, through steady release, through, the fact that we've been working, very closely with community members, and trying to, explain, communicate the brand and, push forward in terms of partnerships. I think that we've been able to overcome that people don't realize, people realize that we weren't there for a money grab. We're there specifically because we thought that this is the best way, and we still think that this is the best way to syndicate our products, through the crypto economy.
People are going to murder me if I don't ask you to dive deeper on this. I know that the price action hasn't been what many would have expected to be with the token in general, but I think I also would imagine that it's not directly correlated to the MOAR thing, because it's the kind of thing that I get the feeling that it got people upset, but it wasn't precisely the people with a bigger stake in the project, because it would just drove across the point that you were willing to learn from your bouncing with reality. and I took it as a positive thing. But when you talk about the predatory activity in the markets, what have you seen? What have you documented in that regard?
We really don't try to, we really work day to day, not thinking about the price of the token. I mean, of course, we think about the price of the token. We want people to be confident in their holding of the token. We want to be able to prove that there's liquidity in the token. We want to show that there's utility in the token, and we want to ultimately slow velocity within our system to drive value. That's the way projects work. So we do care about prices as a gauge, but just like you fly a plane, do you fly a plane off of the fuel tank, the fuel gauge, or do you also need a horizon? Do you also need a compass? Do you also need an altimeter? There are a lot of different gauges that we use in trying to determine where we're flying this plane. And when we see one of the gauges, plays a little funny, we focus on the other ones specifically because we know that they're steering us true. So, from the perspective of price, we know that the price action is, we've seen people, early on who were given privileged positions in the project, take advantage of that, by not holding while representing to us that was, their initial intent. It happens. Everyone's a free agent. The only people who've been locked in this project, in a guaranteed way have been the team. We've watched the market trade around us the entire time. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, I wish I got out at 15 cents." I mean, I wish I had an opportunity to get out anytime. The bottom line is, we're committed to the product. We're committed to the vision of the ecosystem as a team. Generally, we're not focused on day trading. Day trading news. That's not our strategy. So when we see members of the community who are more focused on that, we realize, look, they're different holders for different reasons. There's some people who believe in the value of insurance. There's some people who believe in the value of this as an annuity over the long term. So what we're trying to do is, we're looking at, when we have multiple tokens in the ecosystem, what we're really doing is we're appealing to different people. So if you think about the person who goes long on an Ethereum COP, it writes the put. They believe that, the price of Ethereum is going to go up. So that's the product that caters to someone who believes in the price of Ethereum going up. Okay. Right. If you believe in the price of Union going up, hold Union. But if you believe in the price of Ethereum going up, stake some USDC into, the Ethereum COP pool, and, go put some PUNN in the geyser. And we've actually shown that makes some people money. So you can make multiple bets inside of our ecosystem and still be successful. And we can still have an active conversation as a community. We think we leave enough opportunity for all that to happen.
I think you're right about the fact that a team shouldn't be thinking about the price of the token. That's, of course, easy to say than done, right? Because in the end of the day, it's your project and you're seeing your token go up and down. And ideally, well, yeah, ideally is a good word here. Ideally, you have no control over it.
Yeah. I mean, we can put out good news. We can put out good news. We can hire good people. We can put out good product. We can manage liquidity, at the treasury by constructing incentives.
You talk about the future of insurance, and that's ideally as well how people should think about this. If you believe about the future of this industry in DeFi and about the future of insurance in general, hold the token. And that's also related to how do you expect the project to perform against its direct competitors, right?